I'm hoping to try to track down some long-lost relatives that live here in Czechoslovakia still, or Czech Republic. I'm feeling a little hopeful, a little like, might not get anywhere, but this is a start. I don't really know what to expect out of this, but high hopes. We'll see. It's important to connect with who you are under all the layers. It's kind of nice to know at the core, like my people are here and I have people here, and that kind of helps you understand why you are the way you are. There was a sense of responsibility to being that one person that's trying to find the answers and to be the person to connect the dots. Like there's a lot of, that's like heavy. You know, a lot of expectations.
I'm pretty sure Frank is related because our dad, I remember him talking about Frank. And then Hank and Emma, obviously that's correct, and the birthday and stuff.
I didn't even get to that. I spent hours yesterday, like till they went to bed at like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, I know. No wonder they give you a 14-day trial. It takes 14 days just to go through this mess, huh?
Yeah, it does. There's a John Sweda that was born in Czechoslovakia in 1842, but then settled down in Minnesota, in Montgomery, LeSueur, Minnesota. He moved there, but I don't know when he moved, but that's where he also died. But I think I found the house that he lived in. I have the address for the house he lived in.
Wow.
I found it in some papers on I think it was Army papers, either Army papers or it was U.S. voter consensus papers. Well, my mom was back in, obviously, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and it was really important for her because on her side is where all of my Czech family is. And so for her to not have the opportunity like I had to be in the Czech Republic and be that close to where we've had family, you know, coming from, for her, she was like living vicariously through me. So she wanted me to do all the things that she wished she could do that, you know, if she were in the Czech Republic. So it was really important for her to, you know, to try to make that connection.
Who was that one Sweda that was born in Milwaukee?
His name was Emil Sweda, and he was born in Milwaukee.
Wow. So that would have been the granddad. Well, it'd be interesting to see who George's twin brother was, if that's the same George.
It's crazy. There's so much to uncover, and you'd be really surprised how much information is there online. You just have to go digging.
Making some progress here. Faith is finding relatives where her family's from, which is here, and she just found a picture of possibly a great grandfather, or great
grandfather.
Something like that. Let's take a look. What's his name?
John Sweda.
Tell me a little bit about John Sweda.
He was born in 1893 on April 18th. It says that he was born in Bohemia.
Tell the people a little bit about Bohemia because people might not be familiar.
So Bohemia, it's a region that encompasses Western Czech Republic. Back then it was Czechoslovakia. But during the Revolution of 1841, the Czech nationalists, they called for, they wanted to break up the Bohemia from Austria. So at one point Austria was part of Bohemia, so a lot of times when you have Czechoslovakian relatives on their immigration papers, it'll say that their country of origin was Austria. Years later, it would then say Czechoslovakia, then it would become the Czech Republic, and so on and so forth. So a lot of my relatives, when I'm trying to look them up and try to find Czechoslovakia, nothing comes up, but when I type in Austria, things start to come up. So, but yeah, I'm like looking at some old passport applications. It's from May 19th, 1920. It's the original papers here, and was filled in handwritten. Born in Bohemia, now residing in Czechoslovakia, and he wanted to emigrate to the United States, sailing from Hamburg. A lot of Czech citizens that wanted to come to America, they oftentimes had to travel to another country nearby to hop on the boat from there. And a lot of times it ended up being from Germany. In this case, it was from Hamburg.
She's going to tell you the last person from her family to be in Czech.
Oh, me. There was a sense of responsibility to kind of find answers and be the one person from the family who, after so many years, was finally going back and trying to connect with long lost loved ones and cousins of cousins of cousins. Like, there was a sense of responsibility. Like, I'm the first generation of people after having settled into the United States that has come back to visit the Czech Republic.
That's crazy. You know how heavy that is?
So I do feel like there's kind of like a lot on my shoulders to try to like figure stuff out for the family. My mom's just texting me nonstop. She's like, hey, what'd you find? Did you find more research? You know, when you're walking around the streets of Brno and Prague, you know, ask everyone you meet if they know this particular person and this person. I'm like, it's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot. I am not feeling very confident at this point in my research that I'm going to find someone to like actually meet that's a distant relative. I'm not feeling very confident about that, but worst case scenario, I don't meet with anyone here while I'm here. The hardest thing about the entire process was trying to figure out where to go for resources and kind of getting turned around. It's like, do we go to the courthouse? Is the courthouse here in is it Prague? Is it in Brno? Is it in Benešov? Is it what, you know, where to go, and not being in a country where they speak English. I think no matter what, something positive will come of this, but my ultimate hope and ultimate goal is to actually meet somebody that has the last name Sueda.
I think we should go to the courthouse tomorrow.
You want to? You think they'll be open at Saturday?
Sunday, everything's closed in Europe. Everything shuts down on Sundays in Europe. But tomorrow's Saturday.
I just want to find some other Suedas just to say hello and see how they are and tell them that we all left on the boat and we all, like, they got left behind.
Maybe you guys were taken like my family was taken.
Dang. My family might have been taking your family. Or my family might have been taking my family. We are here in central Brno at the courthouse. I'm feeling a little hopeful. If we can't find any information here, hopefully there are people inside that hopefully could direct us to another courthouse, because there's a couple. I don't really know what to expect out of this, but high hopes. Let's see. I am from the U.S., but I have long lost relatives that maybe still live here. So I'm trying to come here to try to see if I can track down the last name and try to find some relatives. Yeah. Can I do that here? This room?
That's what she said.
I think so. She just kind of pointed like, should we just try it? Do you speak English?
No.
Hey, let's translate. We have
I can type it in.
Já zkusím někoho zavolat.
I feel a little nervous. I don't know why. I have translated a message to them that we're looking for long lost relatives, and we were told to just hold on, you know, a little bit, and she's gonna maybe see what she can do. But we're hoping that we can try to find some old documents.
You got your phone out? Because you can have all the names ready to go, get some dates ready.
Yeah, I might just take some pictures of everything. When we got there and people came out to try to help us, what was going through my mind was like, man, this is actually happening. I'm envisioning later on that night speaking with my mom and being like, guess what I found out? And I just had all these thoughts. I'm like, man, I'm about to be that person that's about to like find all these answers and be like, look what I found. And so there was like a lot of excitement, and I was feeling super, super like optimistic about it.
Hello.
Hello.
So, how can you need?
Oh, okay.
So I live in the USA, but my mom's side of the family immigrated from I think mostly Prague, but I think maybe there were some people here as well. But I may have like some long lost relatives here, so she was hoping that from the USA, since I'm visiting, I could come to the courthouse and maybe like look at some documents and see if I can maybe track down some relatives.
When was the time that your mother emigrated, or when was she here? Like 20 years, 30 years?
It was
ago?
like my great grandparents, so it was like early 1900s, so it was quite a while ago.
Mm-hmm. She was from Prague, or she lived in Prague,
I
because
don't
there
know.
would probably be some written documents and registry forms only, and they probably would be in archives somewhere only in Prague.
It was frustrating because I felt like I was like on this roller coaster of emotions. It was like, the first thought was like, I'll never be able to connect with people. Like, this is just such a far-fetched idea. And then I'm like finding all these really cool like facts and information and like original birth certificates and like all this stuff. And I'm like, now I'm actually here in the country and I'm starting to get excited about it. And then we go to the courthouse and it feels real. And I'm like, this is happening. And then we're waiting there for someone to come and translate. And I'm like, my heart's like kind of beating kind of fast. I'm like, I'm about to find some stuff out, and I'm getting really excited. And then we leave empty-handed, and it's like nothing came of it. And I kind of felt like defeated a little bit. And I felt like it sucks to like walk away with no information, but I also felt like I had family that was expecting me to like be that person to find answers and to connect with like long lost loved ones, and I couldn't do that for them. Definitely still optimistic for the future. I think if I could go back and do it again, I just would have needed more time and would have needed to do more research prior to actually getting there. And I would love to have the opportunity to like do it again. And as of now, search continues.